Today we will be reviewing how to make a broccoli, kale, and red pepper frittata. We will begin by washing our vegetables. This includes our broccoli, our red pepper, and our kale. To wash the kale, it is best to place it in a colander under running water. Once all of the kale you desire to have is in that colander, you are going to move it around and allow all of the leaves to be washed by the water. To begin cutting our broccoli, we're going to lay the broccoli with the florets down on the cutting board. We'll angle our knife in a downward position and cut around the edge of the broccoli stem, turning the broccoli as we go. Place the stem off to the side to be included later on. The goal is to cut the broccoli florets into smaller sizes about equal in size. To do this, we will take the florets, cut them in half. If there are some florets with a longer stem, you can cut the stems in half and include them later as well. To cut the bell pepper, we're going to cut off the top of the bell pepper and the bottom of the bell pepper, placing these pieces to the side to be cut up later. We're then going to cut the pepper in half. Once the pepper is cut in half, we are going to lay it on the cutting board and cut through those white pieces, holding the seeds in place to allow us to remove the seeds from the bell pepper. We're going to repeat this process with the other side. Once that is done, we're going to take our cleaned pieces of bell pepper, lay it flat on the cutting board, and cut into strips or to julienne the pepper. You can choose to leave the white pieces from the inside of the pepper in or remove them. To cut the onion, we are going to cut off one end of the onion and then lay the onion down on the flat surface. We're going to cut through the other end of the onion, giving us two halves, placing one half to the side. We're going to peel the skin of our onion to the end of the onion, giving us a clean surface to cut. Laying the onion down on the cutting board on the flat surface, we will begin to cut our onion into strips or julienne pieces. To do this, you can follow the natural lines that are in the onion, cutting all the way through to the cutting board, but not cutting all the way down to the end of the onion. Remembering to hold the onion with your fingers curved in like a claw to help prevent cuts. Once done, you can cut through the end of the onion, giving you those slices. You will crack 12 eggs into a bowl. You will mix all of the eggs together with a whisk or a fork, making sure they're all well incorporated. You will then add in the spices as shown on the screen. This includes 1 tablespoon of Parmesan cheese shredded, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, 1.5 teaspoons of ground black pepper, and 1/2 cup of water. With the broccoli that we cut up, we are going to steam it by placing it on the stove in a steamer for approximately 4 minutes. To an oven-safe dish, we heated oil and then added in the onions that we sliced earlier. Once these have begun to brown, we will be placing our bell pepper in as well. Moving these around the pan, we are hoping to see the bell pepper begin to cook. Once the bell pepper has begun to cook, we will be adding in the kale that we washed and stemmed earlier, and the broccoli that was just steamed. You should be moving everything around in the fry pan that's on a medium heat for about 4 to 5 minutes to ensure that there is a slight cook on the vegetables. The goal is to see the vegetables become softer and cooked down during this process. You do not want to see the vegetables begin to brown or overcook while being on the stove. Once you are satisfied with the cook on your vegetables, you will add in the egg mixture from earlier, giving it a whisk prior to adding it in to ensure that the herbs are properly incorporated. With everything in the pan, you're going to mix everything together to ensure that all of the vegetables are evenly coated with the egg and there is a thin layer before going into the oven. Prior to going into the oven, you also would like to see the egg begin to settle. This is when you start to see the egg have a slight cook. The best way to test this is by scraping the sides of the frying pan and the bottom. To this, you will add in a 1/4 cup of feta cheese just sprinkled on top, and then go in the oven 350 for 30 minutes. Once the frittata is done, you will remove it. You should tap the top of the frittata and your fingers should come back clean.